I try not to get too serious on this channel because when I do it, before you know it, I'm talking about how reptilians run the entire planet and makes a lot of my friends uncomfortable. So try to keep it lighthearted. But recently I came across something that I really had to speak up on because it made me extremely uncomfortable, and a lot of people don't seem to know that it's happening here in Plattsburgh. So, we do a weekly news roundup show called TRASHcast. It's a podcast. We get a panel of 4 local people, and we discuss the week's news. Earlier this summer, former police chief Desmond Racicot, Desi, as a lot of you know him, was busted by state troopers for drunk driving. He also had a past state inspection by a couple years. It is what it is. I'm not really here to speak on that so much. But recently, the arresting officer in that incident was at a crime scene. They were investigating a possible production of meth, something that also plagues the North Country here. And Stephanie Gorin of WPTZ, Channel 5, was there reporting on it, presumably. She found out that the arresting officer who had arrested her husband, former police chief Racicot, was there on the scene, and she began to berate and belittle him in front of everyone, very loudly, made a public scene. The officer had to call WPTZ and ask to have her removed from the crime scene. From the accounts that we do have, it was intense. It was uncalled for. And I heard about this incident, and we actually didn't report on it the first week that we heard about it, because when we do the TRASHcast, I tend to look at local news sites, and we look at the headlines, and we kind of act like an aggregator, just take all local news and regional news and put it into one spot, and we discuss it. This incident was not reported on in any local news websites. I heard about it through Reddit, and someone mentioned again, hey, you should maybe talk about this on the show. So I said, yeah, I forgot last week, we'll do it this week. So on WIRY, they do a daily news recap, and there's a editorial opinion piece, about a 3-minute little essay that someone will read on the air. That's the only place that this incident with Stephanie Gorin verbally assaulting the officer who had arrested her husband for drunk driving, that's the only place this was reported on. There's been no official statement from WPTZ, from the police. It's my understanding from this WIRY segment that the officer in question, the arresting officer who picked up former police chief Racicot for drunk driving, actually was called in and had to answer to his superiors and acknowledge, yes, I did everything right. No, I didn't provoke Stephanie Gorin. This is pretty crazy that something like this could happen, where someone feels that they can enter a crime scene, harass an officer to the point where they are being asked to be removed and will not leave, and then a third party has to be called to try to remove the person. Especially when, what is Stephanie Gorin mad about? Is she mad that her husband was caught drunk driving? I don't know, I'm not her, but I've looked at this situation from every possible angle, and I can't really find anywhere where I sympathize with Stephanie on this one. It feels like an abuse of power. If any other citizen were to step onto a crime scene and harass an officer loudly, verbally, people have been arrested, tased, or shot to death for less than that. It's a really upsetting double standard, and some people are calling for Stephanie to lose her job over this. I don't really agree with that. I think you can be a person who does bad things and still keep your job. The issue more for me is, what do you do when you're called out on those bad things? Do you acknowledge your behavior, or do you sweep it under the rug and hope that no one reports on it? In a small town like this, we all have some baggage. We've all been in situations that maybe we regret or leave us looking like unsavory individuals. But these are people who are in a real position of power, a position of status here. It feels like an abuse of that power, of that status, for Stephanie to be able to act this way without any repercussion or without acknowledging it at all. There's still no official statement on this. There's no action being taken. And I'm not really even sure what the action should be. I just more don't like the idea that certain favorable citizens can act this way towards a state trooper and nothing happens when you see the sorts of things that happen to people who have upset other officers around the country. It's a very touchy subject, I know, but I gotta say something about it because it disturbs me how few people, even people in local press, local media, were unaware of this incident and how it could just go right, this is the rug, and I'm sweeping under it. So I'm gonna leave some links in the description here. There's a story by a local blogger, Luke Bush, that touches on it. I'll leave a link to our podcast where we discuss it. And also, I'll leave some links to where you can contact WPTZ. Maybe you could request they make a statement on it. Also, just let me know what you think. I don't want this to get, and I know this is the internet, so I'm a fool for saying this, but I don't want this to get vicious. I don't want this to get bloody or, slanderous. It's really, do we hold people accountable for their actions or not? Especially something like verbally assaulting a state trooper at a crime scene. That's an offense that most of us cannot get away with. So it's not cool when one of us does without any sort of acknowledgement. I think you guys get what I'm getting at here. I feel a little weird. I'm not really trying to stir the pot, shake a bee's nest or anything like that. I just think this is not cool and somebody's gotta say something. So I said it. Check out the stories. See for yourself what you think. And hey, that's it. Bye.